Every AI initiative begins with uncertainty. That is why Red matters. In the AIPOC framework, Red represents the earliest and most important stage of disciplined AI judgment. It is the point where leaders pause, slow the momentum, and ask whether the organization truly understands the risk before moving forward. At this stage, the questions are not theoretical. What exactly is this AI system doing? What business decision, workflow, or output is it influencing? What data is it using, generating, or exposing? How reliable is the output? Who owns the decision to use it? And who is accountable if the result is wrong, biased, insecure, incomplete, or misleading? Too often, organizations move past these questions too quickly. They see speed. They see automation. They see a compelling demo. They see pressure from the market. But they have not yet established governance, control, or defensible understanding. And that is where risk begins. Red is the stage where leaders identify what is still unknown. It is where governance gaps become visible. It is where an organization determines whether the use case has clear ownership, appropriate oversight, acceptable data practices, and a realistic understanding of operational, legal, technical, and reputational exposure. Before adoption, leaders should assess the use case across the full life cycle. They should examine governance, context, intended use, measurement, and risk response. They should evaluate data quality, transparency, human oversight, security, resilience, third-party dependencies, and incident response readiness. They should ask whether the system is explainable enough for its purpose, whether outputs can be challenged, and whether people remain empowered to intervene when needed. In practical terms, Red looks different across functions. In legal, the risk may involve interpretation, privilege, regulatory exposure, or weak accountability. In procurement, it may involve unclear terms, hidden dependencies, vendor claims, indemnity gaps, or inadequate contractual protections. In finance, the concern may be control failure, unreliable outputs, or a weak value case. In information technology, the focus may be security, resilience, access, or model behavior. And in media and entertainment, the risk may involve attribution, intellectual property, or content authenticity. Red is also where vendor risk becomes enterprise risk. If the organization cannot clearly evaluate a third-party AI tool's controls, data practices, monitoring model, or failure response obligations, then the risk has not been contained. It has simply been outsourced. Just as important, Red is not a permanent stop sign. It is an early warning stage. Its purpose is not to kill innovation. Its purpose is to protect judgment. Red makes risk visible before decisions become expensive, before exposure becomes public, and before enthusiasm outruns governance. At AIPOC, Red is where better AI judgment begins. Because before an AI initiative is tested, before it is approved, and before it is scaled, someone has to ask whether the organization understands the risk well enough to proceed responsibly. That is the work of Red, and that is where responsible AI begins.